I could go on and on about Christian rock bands that we know and love, that it's a crime that more people don't know them.
It's a crime.
What's up, guys? This is Josh from the Protest, and you're listening to Shatter!
That was Noise Revolution, The Protest. Today we're going to have Josh, the lead singer, on today, and his brother is on drums, Jared, and then we've got lead guitarist Adam, and then TJ. We want to thank Rockfest Records for signing an awesome band.
Oh,
and
yeah.
If you're not familiar with Rockfest Records, you need to check out their website, because it is the lead singer of Seventh Day Slumber. This is his gig, Joseph. Rockfest began in 2018, so you need to check out Rockfest Records, because they have Fireflight, they've got Seventh Day Slumber, they've got a lot of good artists. So, hey Chris, you gonna eat that sandwich?
What? Yeah, I'm gonna eat that sandwich. You're not gonna have it?
No.
Yeah, you can have it.
I don't want it. Okay.
What?
So before we start the interview, we're going to play What Else You Got.
Oh, yeah.
Positive, aggressive energy of rock and roll.
Let's go.
Closed, can't let you get the best of me. I've had the rug pulled, yeah, I played the fool, but I'm never gonna bend the knee. I'm taking every shot that you can throw.
Hello, Shatterbrain fans and Protest fans. Today we have Joshua from the Protest on today. Welcome.
Hey, I'm stoked to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Heck yeah, man.
All right. So, first question's always got to be, when it's not just a name like Joshua Bramlett, your name is the Protest for your band. So, how did y'all come out with the band name?
Sure, man. So, we've been playing music, dude, since me and our guitar player, my little brother, our drummer, we've been playing music together since like 2004. So, I think my first show we were in, I was in 8th grade. My brother was in 6th grade, and we were terrible. But for years, we went under the name Protest for Pluto. If you remember the Pluto that whole deal, I wasn't a planet anymore, and we were kind of angsty, and, so fast forward many years, 2012, 2011, we went into the studio to record our first real serious album, our first national release, Game Changer. And, a lot had changed within the band. We're no longer just a rock and roll band. We had a mission to reach people with the gospel, bring some light into rock and roll and heavy music, because it's so lacking that. So we went down to the studio and wanted to change everything. So we changed our name to The Protest as kind of like a rebirthing. The idea behind the name was to have a bold name that would get people to your concert. That does come back to bite you sometimes when people think there's an actual protest going on in the town, but, we'll take them however we can get them.
Yeah.
That's right. That's cool. That's kind of funny. I like that. So let me ask you a question. So what you just said about, changing the name and like a rebirth, and how today's music needs to be uplifting. It can be hard driving and uplifting. How much of an impact have you seen your music make in that rock industry? When you're out there and you're singing your songs, what kind of an impact have you seen?
Sure, man. It's a really good question. We're, in the grand scheme of rock and roll, we're a flea, or a grain of sand. We're really nothing special. But we have had the privilege of doing this for really this lineup, doing it seriously for almost 10 years now, and it's an honor to travel the world and see people singing your songs. We get a lot of emails, Facebook messages, people that talk to us in person that say, hey, something that you guys had in your songs have really changed my life, helped, stop me from this or that, and that's always super humbling, man, because, we always set out to reach people, but it's not us that's doing it. You know what I mean? We're just the vessels. A pretty cool story, actually, just recently, we just released a music video for our song Valor, and the video deals with depression and addiction and anxiety and that kind of stuff. And we put the video out, and there was some miscommunication between the people, the organization that was debuting our video, and they released it super early. And I was super bummed out, super stressed out. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is just not how I imagined it, because we were gearing up for a Friday release. It came out on Thursday. Well, it's so funny what can happen, man, because as soon as the video came out, we got a message from one of our fans that said I was sitting in front of a liquor store about ready to go back to having my life controlled by alcohol, and I saw this video come on and I drove away. So,
that is
it's
awesome.
pretty cool.
Wow.
And I was so mad and so, oh man, this is so stupid, but it ended up being perfect. You know what I mean? If it was just for that, then it was worth it. So,
wow, that is amazing.
God's
yeah,
timing.
yeah, man, and it's never. That's one thing about playing music because dude, we don't make tons of money. We're not a big band. We don't, and sometimes it's hard, not to financially see the fruits of your labor sometimes and stuff. But it's that kind of stuff that makes it all worth it, man.
Absolutely. And
wow.
while we're on that
So
video,
cool.
the videos, by the way, fans, y'all need to check out all the videos.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Valor, one thing I want to ask about that is,
Sure.
okay, it's a Blockbuster video store, so it's VHS videotapes. How did y'all pull that off? I mean,
Right.
I mean, there's no video
Well,
stores anymore, you know?
dude, yeah, well, I'll tell you this. Where you guys based out of?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. In the Midwest, there are still family videos. I mean, there's family videos everywhere. There's like 700 stores. I know that because I'm a massive movie buff. Growing up, I went to video stores all the
Me
time.
too. I loved it.
Yeah, dude. And that's when they were VHS, and I was enamored by like the front covers, and I was just, you know what I mean. So I go to the video rental store when we're home, probably once or twice a week, man. But the VHS that we made was actually, there's my brother, our drummer, he does all our graphic design. There's a company that can make VHS covers, and it's really cheap, and he just put it in the template, made one, and I think the movie that's inside is Dragonheart. So with Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Oh no, with Dennis Quaid.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but no, dude, like we're just really like big movie buffs, and that family video I frequent. So they were like, yeah, man, come in and do it. So it was cool.
That's cool. Hey, all these videos are very high quality, by the way. Y'all need to check out all of them, and you need to check out also, people. They have a good sense of humor, so you need to check out News at 6. Find out why one of them almost peed their pants.
Right.
Okay. So you need to check out all that because it's hilarious. And their Christmas video of 2017. All that will be in the show notes, so you can check out all that stuff. Now I want to tell how I came across the protest.
Yeah. Sure.
I was grilling some chicken. And I was
as you do
every Sunday for my wife. So I'm looking up Fireflight to see what's going on with them, and looks like they're going to be on hiatus a little bit because Don Michelle just had a baby. Congratulations on Lavender being born. And then they said something about the protest. I said, "Oh, who's this?" I started listening. And I listened to the next song. I listened to the next song. I listened to the next song. And I was grooving out there cooking some chicken. So that's how I came across the protest. So awesome stuff.
I love it.
So
I was not cooking chicken. I was not cooking chicken when I discovered you. I just want you to know that.
Okay.
It was really good.
So
you were grilling pork chops though, weren't you?
I was actually barbecuing. So yes, we eat a lot.
Okay.
So the first song that I heard was Noise Revolution, which that took me back to kind of like, I don't know, like a song off of Rockstar. Zakk Wylde played all the guitar on Rockstar.
Love that movie.
And it has that same awesome vibe. So it says, tonight unite, everybody turn it up, we rise, we fight, no, we're never giving up. We're never giving up on what?
Every song on the record, you guys probably know this, kind of how it works. Every song on the record, we either wrote all of it or co-wrote. So that song was a co-write we did with a guy in Nashville named Brian Hitt, which is kind of ironic because his last name's Hitt. I thought that was kind of funny. I call it like a Rebel Static Part 2. So my thinking is there's this generation of young people that have so much power to influence the world with positivity and light, and show that love, and that's kind of what the song is. We're rising and we're fighting for love. You know what I mean? Because there's not, with Facebook, social media, everyone's always disagreeing, hating on each other. We need to be the generation that shows love every day. Even when it's hard to do that.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, you're right. All right. So, Josh, by the way, what you just said was amazing. I just want to say this again. I love the fact that you and your band, y'all promote a positive message through your rock. I will tell you, you bring that slamming sound along with it. You're being able to rock out without the hate, just like you said. There's so much negativity and violent messages out there that you're actually bringing something that uplifts them through a really hard driving sound. I think that's amazing. I love it. So I just wanted you to know that. But listen, you've got a song.
Okay.
One of my favorite songs that you do is What Else You Got? And What Else You Got starts out, it's got a really cool beginning. There's a line in there that says, not going to stop with my eye on the prize, fist in the sky, I'll see you at the finish line. It kind of reminds me of Philippians 3:14. It says, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of Christ. Was that on purpose? Was that meant to be that way? And what is the prize? Who is at the finish line?
We found out, afterwards, our good friend Josiah Prince from Disciple,
Oh, yeah.
co-wrote this song with us, and it's funny because we didn't have that verse in mind, but it wasn't until afterwards that we're like, oh man, that that really does fit. Also the verse about running the race and fighting the good fight.
That's right.
But the finish line, and one thing, a little disclaimer here for the listeners. We're a band. I'm just going to come out and say it. We're Christians. We're followers of Jesus. The last thing we want to do is offend anybody or shove it down anyone's throat. So at our concerts, I don't get on a pedestal and preach too long, but I always talk about Jesus a little bit, and because I have to. I mean, he saved my life, and I take about 2 minutes or 1 minute just to say, hey, here's what he's done for me. If you're here for a rock show, then we'll give you a rock show, no worries at all. But if you're here and you're and you want some change, or you're hurting and you don't know why, and you're looking for a remedy, then come talk to us later.
Wow.
So obviously for us, the prize is eternity. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
That's what we have to gain.
Right.
As Christians, we have life to gain. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, on this earth, but especially after. So
That's very cool, because one thing that I've noticed with Christian rock in general, Christian rock, hard rock, really doesn't put the name of Jesus in every song 10,000 times to where it's almost like God is great, God is good. Then if the fans want to know what it's about, they'll reach out and talk to you. Is that the way?
And concerts, totally. And concerts are, and it's such a strange thing, man, because we're not ashamed of the gospel, but the thought process behind writing music like we do, not directly mentioning Jesus is this. There's a place for worship music. It's needed. I need it. Everybody needs it. But our goal is to kind of go after the people that wouldn't come to church or are afraid to come to church. So, if we can get them with some, hard rock music that's super positive and points towards Jesus, then they'll come to our shows, and that's when we can really get that one-on-one interaction with them. And that's where, I think the gospel really thrives, is that one-on-one stuff, because you can sit down with someone or day after your concert and say, hey, I want to hear your story. And they, I've heard some heartbreaking stories. I've heard some redemptive stories, and we try to stay as long as humanly possible, as long as people need us to. So
Okay. And save one of those stories here for a minute, because we're going to ask you about the fan that sticks out to you the most. But first, we're going to talk about Valor again. We kind of talked about it with the video and all that, but and it's pretty much talking about a song about addiction. Now, when you say, despite the pain, we'll stay unbroken, what exactly does that line mean?
Sure. We, as human beings, we have pain. It's hard. You know what I mean? Whether you're a Christian or not, one thing that we can all agree on is there's pain in life. It's not easy. It's hard. It's a struggle. But the beauty of it is, if you have Christ in your life, you have that hope that even though we're going through hell, we'll stay unbroken because of that hope in Christ. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, now, here's the deal.
That's awesome.
This is the first track and the title track. And then next, when we come back, we're going to talk about the last track, because if the first track is as good as the last track is the first, you know you got a solid album front to back. That's why you need to buy the
Well, they
CD.
do. I'm just going to say it. They do.
Front to back, not a one-hit wonder, front to back.
No.
That's what it's about. So we're going to play Valor, and we'll be right back to talk
that
about
song
the
rocks.
last track.
Man, I love that song. That song rocks. All right, so Josh.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for talking with us today. You've been just
no
amazing.
Problem, man.
I do love the fact that your music is not just a rock and roll show. It's not just something to get people just hyped up. It's also a ministry, and that's awesome. And for you to live that is amazing. So just want you to know that. So just like we were talking about, the last track of Legacy is Bad Self, Ascension. I love that song. And the reason why, first off, it drives hard. I mean, it drives hard. And it related to me a little bit because of what, of my past. And to me, it reminded me of looking in the mirror and seeing the man that I didn't want to be and wishing that I could be the man that I am now. At the time, I had no idea really how to get there. You say in the song, I know who you are. You're just a fake. You're a byproduct of hate. First, let me ask you a couple of questions. Who is a fake? And are you talking about sinful self or your sinful nature?
So, yeah, that's exactly what the song is about. A couple things. It's definitely about our sinful nature. You know, everybody has a bad self. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When we were writing the song, which the main riff was actually written by our drummer, which is hilarious because he's not a great guitar player, but he's very rhythmic. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
you could tell. It's
he
great.
actually, yeah. So he actually wrote that, the bones of that song, and the lyrics, which is super cool. Yeah. So essentially, we all have a bad self, kind of like you said, Chris. You know, you look in the mirror and see someone that you don't want to be. The whole fake thing, that's directed, in my mind, that's directed at, one, the bad self inside all of us, but also the enemy, the lies from the enemy that whisper those lies about us, like you are horrible, you are, you know what I mean? That's what this song's kind of hitting on.
When you say, afraid of looking in the mirror, a dark reflection could appear, and even if I look away, the face remains behind the eyes of fear, that is on point. I mean, There are so many people struggling with the person that they see in the mirror, the darkness inside, especially in today's world, right? I mean, there's so much darkness. There's so much hate. There's so much anger. People are so unhappy. Even with social media, everybody's involved in that and not into reality. You're really hitting on that.
Well, yeah, and you know that's what we're trying to do, man. Because, dude, all these songs don't come from like, oh, we're above all this. Like, it comes from because like we live it too, man. Like, yeah, I'm a Christian and I try to live in victory every day. But bro, I mean, there's many days where I'm looking in the mirror even now and I'm like, man, I'm horrible. Who is this? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for all of us, man. Just because we do ministry and I'm in a rock band and stuff, I mean, we're not exempt from those thoughts. I mean, every day, man, we all have to face the darkness, man. Every day it's a battle. Every single day. That's what I was talking to my wife about the other day. To be transparent, I mean, I struggle with anxiety and depression very badly, and I have for a long time. And I was so mad for years. I would pray and pray for God to just take it away from me. And I got angry because it wasn't leading me like I thought it should. And I didn't understand it. But, you know, what I'm starting to realize is, one, you know, these trials, they create perseverance and they allow me to talk to people about these things because I'm going through them too. So I can relate. And evil never stops. I mean, it's been defeated and there's so much more power in Jesus, but, you know, evil never stops pursuing, you know, so every day we do have to, I mean, we have to wake up and put on our armor, man, and fight off that darkness every day. And some days you sort of feel like you lose a battle, even though the war has been won. You know, there's some days where I feel like I've lost the battle, you know, but I got to wake up the next day and try again, you know.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you know, just like you said, you know, turning me into a slave, you know, we're not slaves anymore to sin and we've won, but man, sometimes that battle just gets hard. So awesome. I mean, I love that song. Sorry to spend so much time on it, but just thank you for getting into that because I really like the way that those lyrics read and play out. So thank you, man.
Yeah, dude, no problem.
All right. So with all those thoughts in mind, listen to the lyrics. Here we go with Bad Self.
Just to breathe, it knocks the wind right out of me. Every time I cut myself just to see if I will bleed, it's turning me into a slave. Feels like I'm digging my own grave. Feeling like I need to be quarantined and be locked away. I know who you are. You're just a fake. You're just a byproduct of hate. You got me feeling like your knife has cut me down the core. You got me feeling like I'm on my knees, can't take no more. That's just an offspring of good, my friend, of rebellion. Why do we put ourselves through this hell? Bad self. Afraid of looking in the mirror. A dark reflection could appear. And even if I look away, the face remains behind eyes of fear.
Okay, that was Bad Self. Now, before we go back to 2014 and talk about great links of some of the songs that are off of that album, what song off Legacy do you like and why?
Yeah, man, I think personally my favorite song off the record is a song called To the Death. for a lot of reasons. That song is really special. Our lead guitar player, Adam, wrote a lot of the lyrics and had the main thought in mind. And I love it because it's a driving song that, never lets up. Live, it throws down. I actually love playing that one live. But it's the lyrics, man, I love them. There's one line that says, "You have what it takes, but it will take all that you have." Our lead guitar player, he's one of my best friends. We've been through a lot together. He actually recently, we're from Indiana. He actually recently moved out to LA. He's still in the band full time. We fly him in for shows and tours and writing sessions and whatnot. Whenever we play this live, we put our foreheads together and scream that line at each other, because doing this, we have to make a lot of sacrifices of this lifestyle. We could all be, I'm almost 30. We got guys in their late 20s, and Adam's in his early 30s. And, right now we could be working somewhere making some real money, and you know what I mean? We had a special bond together, all of us, and doing what we do, we have what it takes to do this and try to affect people with this good news, but it's going to take everything we have, all of our energy, all of our hard work, the sacrifice, all that stuff. So this song just means a lot to me personally.
Okay, I got a question. You talk about the guitarist. So is it TJ that you're talking about, or Adam?
Adam. TJ is our rhythm guitarist and does a lot of our screaming.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay.
And Adam is our lead guitar player.
He's the guy that was wearing the Creatures of the Black Lagoon shirt in Noise Revolution, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That is him.
That takes me back to when I was a kid, because I'd wait to get home from school.
Oh, now you're dating yourself, Wayne.
I'm dating
Stop
myself.
it.
They'd have Monster Week, and there was always Creatures of the
I
Black
remember that.
Lagoon.
So cool.
So when he was wearing that, that's the first video I saw, and I said, I'm gonna like this band just because he's wearing Creatures of the Black Lagoon.
Well, dude, I mean, as mentioned, every guy in the band loves movies. But Adam and I are we are movie buffs. I mean, that's when he was home. I mean, we would every week we'd get some candy or whatever. We'd go over to his house and watch a movie, usually a horror movie of some kind. He loves all the Universal monsters, Wolfman, the Invisible Man, Frankenstein, Dracula, all those.
Yeah.
But Creature's his favorite. I mean, he loves the Creature, and he's got a lot of Creature shirts. When I visited him out in LA once, we went to a rock opera, a Creature of the Black Lagoon rock opera, and it was incredible.
Hey, well, have you seen Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he reminds me of Shawn Michael Scott. When I look at him, I'm like, yeah.
No, it's funny. He actually gets that more than you would know. So that's hilarious.
It's just
he also gets Dexter from the show Dexter.
Oh yeah.
And
we just started watching that.
He also gets the guy from Arrow, like Green Arrow.
Oh,
That's the guy that plays him in the show.
bad.
You mean the CW version?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's my guy. I looked up his workout routine to try to get some muscles like him.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we got way off subject here. So we're going to play To the Death, and then we're going to be right back and find out about a fan testimony.
Oh yeah.
No
All right, Josh, it's obvious that your band is good, okay? And it's obvious that you are dedicated, sold out to what you're doing. And, I mean, you can just see it in the lyrics. You can see it in your videos. You can hear it in the music. Your sound is freaking awesome. It's a hard-driving, anthem-type, vibe. Listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. It's the kind of music that makes me speed, okay? And yeah,
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? And your foot gets a little heavy.
Well,
and
yeah.
And you're flying. I just want to let you know that's what it does for me. It drives me. I like to play it when I'm working out. I like to play it when I'm driving. It kind of pumps me up. And I love that because there's just like I said earlier, just like you had referenced, there's so many songs out there that really they drive you and they get you hyped up, but it's more of an anger, hate type of feeling, where yours is more of an inspiring, let's go, let's do this. I love that.
Right.
It's not destructive, right? Your lyrics are not destructive. Your sound is not destructive. For instance, let's go back to Valor. I mean, Valor's awesome, okay? But by the way, there's so many other songs out there, but Valor is really good. I love the lyric where it says, "Watch as we run with giants, tremble as we roar like the lions. On the wings of eagles, we're flying now." It has a little bit of Isaiah 40:31 in there. Was that intentional?
Yeah, sure was.
Yeah. It actually was really cool. I heard that, and then I went and I read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love how he put that in there. So good job on that. I just wanted to point that out because Valor's such a good song. So what testimony from a fan has either affected you personally? I know we spoke, earlier about an instance, or it has touched the band holistically the most?
Sure. There's a lot. We're not always blessed to see those fruits. I mean, you might reach someone and change their life, but you may not know about it. You know what I mean? But we've been very blessed to have a lot of instances where they feel called to reach out. One that really sticks out, of course, not naming any names or anything. We had a fan. She, at a concert, she came up to us, and kind of the whole time she was super reserved. Looked like she didn't really want to be there. But after the concert, she asked if she could talk to us, and she just kind of poured everything out. She said, "Listen, I came here tonight with every intention to, take my life when I left. You know what I mean? I got dragged here by some friends. I didn't really want to be here. My plan was to take my life as soon as possible. Struggled with addiction to alcohol and drugs. Felt worthless, hopeless, had cut marks on her wrist. And she just said, I don't know what to do. Something about your guys' set, I don't know what it was, really spoke to me. And I just wanted to ask you guys what I should do. And I'm lost and I'm scared." And so we actually got to talk with her, pray with her, and she accepted Christ that night. So, man, it's stuff like that when we're thinking about, oh, we don't have any money, or we're not, big rock stars or anything like that, and you get kind of disappointed. And it's that kind of stuff that makes it all worth it. We're very humbled anytime we get a message or email, or someone talks to us about that kind of stuff, man. It's just an honor to be used. So,
well, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Josh, for sharing that with us. That was awesome.
Okay, so we talked about VHS tapes and favorite movies and Creatures of the Black Lagoon and all that. We're going to the 2014 Great Lengths CD on my favorite song. My favorite movie, of course, is A Man's Man, Jack Nicholson, because Jack Nicholson, Clint Eastwood. I want a man's man type stuff.
Sure.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is my favorite movie of all time.
Love it.
Just like crazy people. I like.
Yeah, because he's crazy. That's what it is. Wayne's just nuts.
That's it.
I like
a screw loose. So here we go.
But wait. Mm. What's his favorite movie? What's your favorite movie?
Man, that's a good grab with One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I like the Chief in that movie a lot. Yeah. He's awesome. And Nurse Ratched is one of the most underrated villains in movie history.
Yeah. She needed to play on more.
Really. Yeah. For me, I've actually gotten a little bit of backlash from this in other interviews because I'm a Christian, but I'm a big horror movie fan. Big
Well,
time.
there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm too. Metal and horror kind of go together. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I love horror movies. I mean, some of my favorites: 1977's Suspiria. I love the original Halloween.
Wow.
Love Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a big horror movie fan. As far as just movies go, I love The Crow.
Yeah.
That's one of my all-time favorites with Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
It's so
Brandon
good.
Lee.
And then I love like Vietnam-era war movies. Apocalypse Now. It's awesome.
Oh my goodness, man! You're bringing up some good ones. We could talk about this all day. But I know.
Platoon. I mean,
about 12.
Yeah, but and then like Shawshank Redemption. Like, dude, I just love movies, but I tend to horror is usually my main squeeze. But I love all film. I love coming of age movies like Breakfast Club and Fast Times and Say Anything. And I mean, really, if it's a good movie, I don't care if it's a rom-com or whatever. I just love movies. So.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Sorry to get off on that tangent, man. I just had to know. Okay.
No, it's all good, man.
So my favorite song off of here is "Welcome to the Freak Show."
Yeah.
So and you need to check out the video, people. That'll be in the show notes because it is a cool video.
It's good.
Talking about horror. So in the Freak Show, your mind will be blown away. What exactly do you mean by Freak Show?
Sure. So the Freak Show is comprised of a group of Christ-following people that aren't always cookie cutter, man. Like, I know Christians that would make your grandma terrified. You know what I mean? Like, but there's room for all of us. That's a cool thing. Like, it doesn't matter if you have tattoos, piercings, a beard, crazy hair. It doesn't matter if you're not cool or, whatever. Like, the body of Christ is one place that you're always accepted, no matter what.
Come
That's
as you
right.
are.
Yeah, and that's what this song's about, man. It's all kinds, yeah. Like, you might not, like, you might be left out at school or left out here or there, but you're never left out of that group. So this song is inviting all those people, who feel cast out to join, and they'll be accepted and loved.
Absolutely.
And you know what? To build on that, we as Christians are considered freaks by the world anyway. So it kind of has a dual meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it sure does.
yeah, that song is awesome. I like that song. I like all your songs, but
Thanks,
that song's
man.
cool.
Well,
so I'm just saying.
and here's what I'll
Thanks,
say.
bro.
What I'll say about this is the kind of song that I would expect to hear on Octane. So that's what's kind of jaw dropping for me because I listen to Octane. I've heard Skillet on there. I've heard Memphis Mayfire and 1,000 Foot Crutch. Have y'all ever been approached to be played on Octane or any of these rock stations? Because y'all's seriously, y'all's music is that good. Especially this song should be on the air.
Well, thank you very much, man. And our secular radio history is definitely not stellar. All of our singles run as Christian rock singles. It's a small niche, Christian rock. Right. Actually, the Christian rock charts just got dropped off of Billboard, so they're no longer on Billboard. But there's some awesome groups keeping the charts alive, which is cool. But we've released 4 secular singles, and they did well. I mean, it was all secondary market rock stuff. I mean, we're being played with, Avenged and Disturbed and all those guys, but it's more on the secondary market, the smaller stations. But still, the reach of the secondary market of secular rock's a lot bigger than the reach of all of Christian rock. So,
Right.
We saw some moderate success from those, but to run a really, really big single like that on Octane and whatnot, it just takes either some money or takes some things that connections that we don't really have right now. I would love to get some Octane or some of our tracks on Liquid Metal or something like that, but just have to keep on grinding and see.
If there's anybody on today that has connections to get this band, I'm dead serious. You listen to this next song, you tell me if that doesn't need to be on regular radio or Christian radio or whatever.
That's correct.
So
Yeah.
we're going to play Freak Show, and correct me if I'm wrong. You can send me a nasty email, but this is awesome. Ready? Here we go.
Step right up, you won't believe your eyes. If you think you're brave, then come inside. If a thrill is what you need, you're in the right place. You can take it from me. You won't be able to wipe the shot from your face. You will be left stunned. You may feel the change, but don't be afraid. Your transformation has just begun. Just let the freak show take you away. It's like a sideshow for the insane. You can feel it into your brain. But don't worry, you won't feel a thing. Your mind will be blown away. Welcome to the freak show. Welcome to our world of the bizarre. Join us and see how different you are. People gasping on what they behold as your uniqueness is being exposed. In the back of your mind you may think it's fake, but it's oh so real. And folks will come from miles around to get a glimpse and see how it feels. Just let the freak show take you away. It's like a sideshow for the insane. You can feel it into your brain. But don't worry, you won't feel a thing. Your mind will be blown away. Welcome to the freak show.
All right, so tell me, did that just rock your world or what?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Before I
Freak
get
show.
to
Freak
get to
show.
my favorite solo off of these two CDs.
No, please don't sing, Wayne.
Yeah, no solo. No, not that kind of solo. From Adam.
Okay,
From
all right.
Adam.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
we talked about being on that small segment on Christian radio. As far as the music industry for Christian radio, how do you feel about like Christian rock, rap, and all this other kind of stuff? It seems like, when people think Christian music, they either think gospel or contemporary, and that's it. What
Sure.
has been your feeling, over the last decade of playing Christian rock, and how people treat you, how
Sure,
people
man.
treat about Christian rock? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll start off by saying this. For years, I hated contemporary Christian music just for the fact that it was contemporary Christian music. You know what I mean? But dude, because I mean, I'll be honest with you, and this is also an unpopular thing when our Christian fans see this sometimes. But dude, I mean, I grew up on classic rock and classic metal. I mean, Kiss is still one of my all-time favorite bands.
Right.
Yeah, we read that.
I've got every record. I mean, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. And like I love like Undead Sevenfold and all these, like A Day to Remember, Parkway Drive, like all these modern secular bands. But I will say this: I have been trying to listen to more worship lately, just to uplift my life. And just like any music, there's some incredible worship out there that you're not going to hear on K-Love.
Right.
Right.
Because let's be honest, like I get what they're doing. K-Love and the New Era One and stuff, I get it. It's needed. It's cool, but they have a very limited playlist, man, and it's the same stuff all the time, and I think that gets a little weary. Now, playing Christian rock, I will say this, and I'm not saying this just because I'm in the industry. Some of the best bands, the best hard rock bands you'll ever hear, you were just going by the music, and people didn't have any preconceived notions, and did like the Pepsi challenge. I bet people would pick a lot of these Christian rock bands over secular ones, because it's, and sadly, the cross that we have to bear is this: if you say you're a Christian band it will hurt your area of growth. If you don't say that you're a Christian band, but you're playing Christian music, then you're attacked for denying your faith. You know what I mean? It's a very tough
double-edged sword.
spot.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yes, it's a very tough spot to be in. If you know, part of you wants to ditch the Christian rock mantra and still preach the gospel and stuff like that, but it's tough. You know, one thing that we try to do is, you know, we play to everywhere and everybody because we all need Jesus. And yeah, we play a lot of churches because they need, you know, Jesus too. But we play a lot of clubs and a lot of bars because they need Jesus too. We play everywhere. But as far as Christian music as a whole, man, I mean, there's so much good Christian music out there. People that are sacrificing, working so hard for pennies and no recognition. You know, I will say this now, these guys are really big in our industry, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people probably don't know them, but Disciple, they changed my life. They're some of our best friends. We play with them a lot, and there's not a better live band out there. There's not. I mean, Christian, non-Christian, it doesn't matter. There's not a better live band, and they're very popular, but it's a crime that they aren't on top of the world. You know, I could go on and on about Christian rock bands that we know and love, that it's a crime that more people don't know them. And a lot of them have had to quit and hang it up because they couldn't make a living. And even though they were changing lives and making some of the best music you'll ever hear, it's just too hard.
Mean, the truth is the industry in general is against you because the industry in general is not, they're secular. So they're serving a different master. And so it's very hard for the message to get across because in essence, that's the battle we fight every day, right? I don't have a band, but I still have to, my commission per se, just like the Bible says, is I need to preach the good news. It's very hard to preach that good news. The world doesn't want to hear it, right? And so you're even in a harder position because you have to battle against those that are not preaching the good news. You're trying to change hearts and minds. And a lot of times, those hearts and minds don't want to listen because they're being controlled by secularism. So, I mean, you know, have y'all ever thought about this? Just, you know, I'm sure you have, but it would be awesome to have a Christian rock Lollapalooza type of festival. You know, something where you had Decipher, Disciple, you had Thousand Foot Crutch, you had Skillet, and just like do a countrywide tour or something, and bring that sound that way. I think that would be cool. I do know this. I have seen a revival in Christian music that I don't know if you've seen it crossing over to secularly. I mean, it's been crossing over more and more just recently. To me, it seems like there's almost a revival. Have you noticed
it's happening? That? In a lot of the guys that were before us. So like your Decipher Downs and your Disciples and your Letter Blacks and your Spokens and all those, that are still killing it as we speak. You know, they always say that we were just a little bit too late. If you remember in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, Christian rock was huge. I mean, you had POD and PFK and then it went through a really rough patch. But I feel like now it is starting to come back. And talking about your tour that you just mentioned, there actually is a tour. We've been on it the last 2 years. We're not on it this year, but it's been going on for about, I think, 8 years now. You guys know the band Seventh Day Slumber?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they're on that label, right?
Yes. Yeah. So Joe has been a champion for Christian rock, and he has a tour called City Rockfest Tour, and we were on it the last couple years, and the year we were on it, it was Seventh Day Slumber, Disciple, Wolves at the Gate, us, and Spoken. But they have, in years prior, they had, Project 86 on there. They had Children 18-3. They had Nine Lashes, so it is cool. They're trying to make a small comeback. Our drummer actually played drums with Skillet for 5 or 6 shows when Jen was on Winter Jam doing her own thing this past year. So that was really cool.
That's cool. That's nice.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Okay, so talking about cool, I had a go through these 2 CDs. I didn't go through 3. I just went through 2, and I still had a hard time of picking my favorite solo by Adam. So, what we're going to do, and let me ask this first. Before we play Stalk the Night, that's my favorite solo. Was that just Adam playing that solo, or was there an overdub that he did through that, or what?
No, that's Adam, man. So I remember this distinctly. We mentioned the Letter Black before. That second record that we did that has that was produced by their lead guitar player, Mark.
Right.
He's an awesome writer and an awesome guy. So we were staying at his home church the whole time we were recording. And I remember Adam, he's not much of an on-the-cuff guy. He likes to sit down and rehearse, have something ready so he can take it to the studio and lay it down. I remember we're at this church. He's got his little practice amp in one of the rooms. I'm walking around talking to my wife or something on the phone, and I hear him starting to write that solo, and I instantly I heard it echoing through the hallway, and I instantly ran down there to watch because I got chills. I mean, like we love Avenged Sevenfold, and I think you can really tell. I think you can really tell in that solo.
Yep.
That's kind of what we're going for, and it's probably my favorite solo from him too. He's a monster player, man, and that solo especially is, wow, it's incredible.
All right, so here we go. Listen to this solo.
We stalk the street tonight.
All right, we're back. All right, so Josh, I want to talk to you about Rebel Static. The video is great. Your lyrics are really good in that song. From the beginning to the end. So right in the first part where it says, they told us to stay underground, but we've been hiding way too long. They try to make us quiet down, but the line has been drawn. I believe what you're talking about is a battle between good and evil, ultimately, between the world and what Christ is trying to push forward. What the message is, good versus evil, ultimately. And there's a part in there where it says, "We will never rest until the whole world hears," which kind of sounds like Casting Crowns in some ways, but just that part. But when you're talking about speaking to the whole world about hearing God's truth, I love that, because you say in there the truth resounds in stereo. And I mean, you're literally saying we are pushing this truth through the airways to you. Listen, it's going to change your life. Is that what you mean by "Can't Stop the Revolution, change is coming now"?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, we're pushed down by the world. I mean, not our band, yes, but like you and me, guys that follow Jesus and want, that kind of change. We're pushed down by the world. And I mean, Facebook, for example, if you don't agree with something as a Christian, you're a bigot. If you are sympathetic and have a loving heart towards something with a Christian, then some Christians say you're too watered down. Again, it's a double-edged sword. We're fighting amongst ourselves right now.
We're our own worst enemy, right? We're our own worst enemy.
Yes. Christians are really the worst to other Christians sometimes. But darkness is present, and it's strong, and it's every day we have to fight it. And that's kind of what the song's about. They can try to keep all of us quiet, but they can't. We won't let them.
Nope.
So.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Wayne.
All right, so here we go. We're going to play Rebel Static, and we'll come right back, and we're going to let our guest talk about whatever he wants to talk about. No questions asked.
They told us to stay underground, but we've been hiding way too long. They tried to make us quiet down, but the line has been drawn. We're rising back up to the streets. Our words affect the ones we meet. Coming in so loud and clear, sounding stronger than it has for years. Here on static on your radio. Here on static on your radio. This is not a test. We're taking over and the airwaves are ours. You can try your best, but there is no way you can shut us down. We won't ever rest until the whole world hears the sound. Can't stop the revolution. Change is coming now. So tune into the change you feel. We're taking over, this is real. Don't try to adjust your radio. The truth resounds in stereo. The chance to live lies in our words, and we can't stop until we're heard. So I hope that you're ready now. There's no way we're slowing down. Here on static on your radio. Here on static on your radio. This is not a test. We're taking over and the airwaves are ours. You can try your best, but there is no way you can shut us down.
That was Rebel Static. So now's the time if you can say whatever you want to say. No questions. Whatever's on your heart, let it roll right now.
Oh man, that's amazing. I've actually, in all the interviews I've done, I've never had that privilege before, and I'm kind of scared. But I like to just start off, kind of starting my sign off. One, I thank you guys. If you're listening out there, please keep supporting these two dudes. They're awesome. They ask really good questions, and they just seem like amazing dudes. So thank you guys for having me and asking just really cool questions, man. Like, this has been a lot of fun. Sometimes you have interviews, and we're grateful for any opportunity, but sometimes very dry. It's not, but I've had a blast. If I didn't have something here, here in a few minutes, I'd probably stay on with you guys all day.
That's awesome.
But I do want to say this. Seriously, guys, if I could say one thing out there, not because it's just Christian music, but man, listen to Christian rock. Check out these bands. I could name hundreds and hundreds of Christian rock bands that are just as good as any secular rock bands that you'll hear. And trust me, I love secular music too. I mean, it doesn't matter how heavy it is, how fast it is. There's always a more positive version that's just as good or better. Check that out. And, just check out our band, not so we can sell records, but if you need anything, hit us up on Facebook or send us an email. 'Cause that's what we do, guys. We love you out there, even if we don't know you, and we're here for you. I mean, we don't have the answers, don't claim to have the answers, but we're human beings that struggle too, and, maybe we can help each other out.
Absolutely. Okay.
Awesome.
And we're going to leave you today with a Vicious Cycle, talking about Avenged.
Oh, I love that song.
Man.
Talking about Avenged Sevenfold Sound, which is awesome.
Yeah.
This is definitely.
Yeah, you can tell we were really into Avenged at that time.
Oh, yeah.
My kids.
And the video is awesome.
My kids were saying.
Thanks, man.
Sounds, my second one said, they kind of sound like a rock version of Imagine Dragons. My youngest one said, Bullet for My Valentine. I said, no, sir. It's definitely Avenged Sevenfold. So I'm right. They're wrong.
Oh yeah, and I love Imagine Dragons, and I love Bullet, but yeah, I mean, Avenged has a major impact on our band, and at that time when we were writing the song, they were it. You can tell if you listen to the song Afterlife, by Avenged off their self-titled record, it's almost. It's similar structure, similar setup. So
now in the song, is this song about addiction? Because it says I climb back out, but then I fall back down again. Is this kind of an addiction type song?
Yeah. It's that. It's kind of like Bad Self too. It's sin. I sort of got the lyrics from when I was in college. I took a elective, a history of the Bible class, and they were talking about how the kingdoms would turn towards God, follow him, and then they got stuck in this cycle where pretty much every king turned away from God, started worshiping false idols, and they'd be taken over. There's all this destruction, and then they would turn their faces back towards God, and it was kind of this vicious cycle that never ended. So that's kind of what got me thinking about it. And then on a more personal level, it is very much so the sin factor. It never ends. I mean, even though I strive to be the best man I can be for Jesus, that that darkness is present, and it never ends. And I do believe that it's got no hold in my life because Christ is in my heart. But like we've talked about this whole time, I mean, doesn't mean that it's not a battle. So
right.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I thank you for being on the show today. This has been a blast, Joshua.
It has. Thank you so much.
Dude, no problem, man. Thank you guys for having me and just being so cool and open and easy. I appreciate you, and I wish you guys the best.
Running in circles, I'm fighting hard to keep my demons at bay. Lost in the war, and this fear is internal. No one can see the pain that's on my face. This aggravation is so constant and so cruel. I've got the key.
Chris, was that not an awesome interview?
Yeah, it was. Josh was amazing. It's a rock band. Their driving sound is so strong. They've got really good anthems. Like, they're almost like fight songs. And to hear how they're just sold out for God, sold out for the message. They're fighting basically against the secular world to get that message out there. They're just, I think they're one of the big players in the army of God. And so, to have him come and just explain the lyrics and just really get into it and just hang out with us. Yeah, that was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. What about you, Wayne? Did you like it?
I loved it. Absolutely.
Of course you did, because you're a complete metalhead, but I understand that.
If you know someone that would love this kind of music, that loves that grind, that aggressive type rock and roll, tell at least one person, 2, 3, 4, 5 about the protest, and let them know and hear the positive message that they got. So,
yeah.
And then send the protest an email if you loved what you just heard. All the website will be in the show notes along with all the videos that we talked about.
You got to watch them.
And just kind of like how Joshua said, there's a lot of bands out there that go unnoticed. If you know of a band that needs to be on this show. Let them know, or let us know. Send us an email, wfshatter@gmail.com, or if you want to send one to Chris, cwshatter@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, and also let us know what you think. Post something on iTunes. Post a review on iTunes about us. That would be.
And
great.
remember, you gotta click subscribe.
So that way you don't miss an episode.
That's right. You don't want to miss us, right?
We're going to be talking to all different kinds of genres. We're going to have fun with it. Some bands you might like, some you might not, but you're going to have a good time listening to us.
Always.
So until next time, Shatterbrains.
Keep breaking the surface. And y'all have a good one. See ya.